We interrupt this program to bring you some special news. That's right, we have a winner. Each week and every week, we definitely have a contest that is very simple to enter. All you have to do is be a supporter of the show on Patreon, or you can use the Twitter handle we put out, or you can also just put a comment in the YouTube section. So look for that link down below. And also, this week's winner, Mark Marine, will be receiving a copy of Gorus Maximus. So congratulations, Mark. Shoot me an email. I'll pop that up here on screen so you can see where to send it, and we'll be happy to get that out to you. And not to be satisfied just giving away one, Conor is also giving away another copy, which will be up on offer starting now. So when you see this, you'll see the link below. Feel free to subscribe and do what you need to do to enter the contest this week. I try to make it very simple and very fun, so feel free to share with your friends, and let's get out there and share the good word of Inside Up Games. On a programming note, I do know that there is a bit of an echo, and I sincerely apologize this time. Apparently, I had an open mic in my floor that I was unaware of. So, unfortunately, not easily corrected. I tried to dial it back as much as I could, but you will catch it mostly on me and my big, loud, shouty voice. I apologize. I will do better. I swear. I promise to do better. But this is a lot of fun. Be sure to hang out for this whole episode where we play a fun game of Con Floor Pitch. I now return you to your regularly scheduled program. Hello and welcome to Game Time. Tonight we are playing some nondescript game that Dan is about to tell us about with Mr. Conor McGoey of Inside Up Games, publishers of Summit and Gorus Maximus, because there's gore and blood and guts, and it's gorgeous Quanchai Moria artwork. It's amazing. Go check it out. I'd play that with you live if I could, but I think you'd cheat, so I don't think that that's gonna work.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. We could play like 3 solo games, but it wouldn't work and it wouldn't be fun. So I made Dan come up with something else. So Dan, what are we going to play this week on Game Time?
All right, we're gonna play a game that I love to play anytime we have a brilliant game designer on the show.
So why are we playing it tonight?
Or you know that I also enjoy.
That was my life.
Lag. It was lag that caused that. That's fine. That's fine. All right, but we have Conor. So what are we playing instead?
All right, so. This is a game about coming up with a game design based on a theme that I feed you. Now, we used to call this the Kickstarter game, where the idea was that you and Conor would together generate a Kickstarter pitch based on a theme that was provided. In this case, what I think we're going to do, we are recently removed from PAX Unplugged.
Okay.
And while I was there, I got to speak to a lot of game publishers and game designers. And I know that a lot of time that both of them spend at a convention is networking with each other. So game publishers have to listen to a lot of pitches from game designers while they're at the con. And this is their opportunity to find out whether they're going to bite on a design that the designer has ready and wants to get published. So we're going to pretend, Conor, that you don't have your own game publishing firm here, and that I am the one who owns the publishing firm, and that here we are at a convention, and you guys are going to need a convention floor pitch for your board game based on the theme that I'm going to provide you. So we're going to score this on a 3-point system. A score of 3 means I'm buying the rights to this on the spot. I'm going to publish this game. I'm going to buy it right here, and we'll talk contract terms. A score of 2 means that I'll tell you what, I'll take your prototype I'll take the rules you've got. I have your contact info. I will call you back once I've had a chance to take a look at this a little closer. And then a score of 1 means that I'm going to make an excuse to run to the men's room right now and not return in a timely fashion.
There you go. I think that's all reasonable and makes a lot of sense.
You've got that down to such a nice little pitch there. I could actually use you to kind of be like my pre-buffer for when people want to pitch something to me. It'd be wonderful.
So a score of 3 means I'm going to hand you over to Conor. A score of 1 means thank you very much for your time. And
Exactly.
all right, so our theme for tonight is going to be vacation or travel destinations. So I'm going to feed you a travel destination. You're going to go ahead and give me a game based around that destination as a theme. Okay?
Just for my own understanding, are we going to be doing this multiple times, or is it a one pitch?
Well, I have 3 of these queued up for you. So
Perfect. Okay, good. I didn't want to
Yeah.
I was going to use a bad expression there. I didn't want to use everything on the first one. Okay.
There you go. There you go. Insert your own bad expression.
Thank you.
You do an ollie on the first time on your skateboard and you're done. I don't know where you were going to go with it, but
Yep. That was the one.
that's it. I was totally going to pull an ollie, but
Me and my buddy Ollie, we're the best.
absolutely BFFs.
all right, so Conor, let's start off with you. You can begin to pitch me a game based on traveling to Paris, France. It doesn't have to be, the game doesn't have to be about travel, but themed around Paris.
Themed around Paris, France. And sorry, are we going to be Are we pitching competing ideas, or are we working together to pitch an idea?
I think you should work with Chris. You guys can work together. I'll just let you start this one. I'll let Chris start the next one.
All right. There's a lot of themes we could do with this, Chris. Or do we want to think we're going like modern day? Do we want to go anywhere? There's been too many art games recently. Do we want to get in? I mean, Jamie's already done wine.
So I've been to Paris once in my life, and it was for an 8-hour trip, and I believe you got to spend a few days in Paris. So your recent experience, I think, is going to help. I think landmarks need to feature in it.
Yeah.
Because there are, everywhere you turn, there's historic buildings and things. I mean, is it a city building game, or is it,
I think a city building game would be too obvious.
I think you're right.
What about, have we done any good games built around the French Revolution, but like Les Mis style? Right? Where you're going down in the trenches. Could we have... Because see, now you've already got in my head from previous conversations with it, some hidden movement stuff there, where you have the traitor, right?
Okay.
Working, where you have the power that be. But then
Javert is hidden amongst the students, ready to.
Right? Exactly.
Right.
One day more.
This is where I plead a lot of ignorance. This is not a genre I know a lot of.
I'm speaking Dan's language right now.
Yes,
you are.
Yeah.
So I want
He's fortunate that I'm the one scoring it.
So I want you to stick on this path, but note that I'm going to be more of the developer in this case, because I'm going to be more mechanics than theme.
So let's because I can go anywhere. I could easily jump back to your landmark.
No. I think you need to stick on yours. Okay. I like that.
Okay, so let's go French Revolution. So we have the right time period down. Let's go. Can we get sloppy and get a little bit of hidden movement?
Okay.
Trader game, like a little bit of Whitechapel feel for like.
I definitely think we
Paris.
could have but I don't. Is it the Guess Who / Whitechapel element, or are we thinking more like the Mr. Jack kind of trying to find somebody kind of style?
What?
And I think I know the name.
Could we do both? Okay, hold the name, because I love figuring out the name.
I think I got a good one.
We took your idea of using, like, imagine the Whitechapel board.
Okay.
Because it has very little information, graphic information on it, right? You took that, and what happens if we did almost do a city building where one team, one side, whatever you want to call it, is actually not city building, but barricade building.
Okay.
So they need to quarantine off their parts of the city. And within that quarantine, then they're going to have to try to figure, okay, well, we need access to this. And now they've got to push those barricades out But meanwhile, whoever's the other side, the authorities, if we want to call them that, they're going to say, okay, clearly they're going to want to take these are the parts that are important to them, right? We're going to try to feed this stuff in there.
So are you thinking area control with hidden movement? And like, you know, there's kind of fog of war going on, or are you thinking this should be exposed? Like, you know, as the different sides, maybe it's a team game, right? I like team.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of team games out, but I think we could maybe kind of develop that movement in silence. And then once they actually hit each other, then exposure happens.
You could almost do a team, like a semi-co-op trader a la Shadows over Camelot.
Okay.
Where there's a chance both teams are working with each other. There's also a chance either of those teams could have the traitor.
Okay.
So maybe the authorities have the traitor, maybe the revolutionaries have the traitor.
I like it.
Right. So in which case we couldn't really, I don't know if we could use fog of war if we were still doing hidden movement, because then there'd be too many unknowns.
Yeah, it would almost, well, that's what you wind up with like Aliens from Outer Space does that, right? Where it's fog of war, but it's also completely hidden unless you're on top of people and things. And I think I think you're right. I think it could distract from the, you know, maybe you're trying to get together. Maybe that's your objective that round, and try to link up and combine resources. Or maybe
you could also you mean same idea. You could also, I mean, depends how heavy of a game we want to make, but we could also easily do, you know, objective based. So you could have that, right? You could, if you and I are on a team, or Dan and I, because we clearly get along better. So say Dan and I are on a team. Well, maybe his objective, even though he's a revolutionary, he's trying to find his Cosette or his Eponine, whoever he wants to find, right? Meanwhile, mine is to overthrow the government. So although we have the same goal, we're actually working towards the same drive. We have an end that we're trying to meet.
So
it'd be very interesting.
So it's co-op to a point, like you're working together towards a common thing, but you each have individual goals.
And exactly. And then at what point does it start taking away from each other, right? Where he's not doing what I need him to do because he's busy trying to get his goal finished. And then every good revolution, does it crumble from within?
So it's one of these things where your actions and your build of your lair and everything, it's going to kind of culminate. You're going to work together. But the crux of the game is when you split and take your own path and run for your goal to leave the other team behind.
Maybe. Do you have to? Can you not both reach your goal?
Well, maybe it depends on the event deck, right?
Exactly. Depends what you're getting hit with.
But neither of you know exactly what the goal is, so you're not really sure if that's what the other person's trying to do or not.
Because I'm trying to think it out, because it would be, I think it actually might be more interesting if they did know. Because meanwhile, if Dan's saying, look, Conor, I know like we need to do this, but if you can help me get to this, it's going to help my cause. I can help you. So there's a little bit of bartering, right? Look, I'll help push the barricade up here because it's closer to where, you know, her parents' house is or whatever the heck you want to argue it, right? So you actually do, you know what that goal is. Like, look, we're in this together. We know what we both want, and we both want to see the goal achieved.
Okay.
It could be interesting. It'd be a tricky balance.
Right. But then when you reach a point where you're playing team on team, but then when you hit like that magical like 6 or 7 players, then you introduce the potential for a traitor or somebody who's working for the other side on the inside of your team. And then you have to go from there.
Yeah. Right? I like 5 and up. I like when there's that, as soon as there's that odd player count. That's where I love it coming in.
Yeah. Because I think it kind of, there's already natural imbalance and everybody's already on edge already. Yeah.
And name, you said you started thinking of a name already.
I like Bastille.
Oh, shit. Oh, wait. Is there Bastille already?
Well, not. We haven't copyrighted it yet, so this can be its working title.
That's a good title.
Right? But maybe we spell Bastille like STAL, so you like steal something.
Minus 2
bad
points.
Bad puns aside. All right, so I think that's the final pitch, Dan. Not Bastille spelled stupidly, but the actual correct way. Sorry, I had to channel my dad joke.
Okay, so we went deep here, so I want to make sure that you understood what I was being pitched here. So our game Bastille involves students attempting a revolution here versus the authorities trying to take them down. But at certain player counts, individual player motivations, personal goals enter the picture that can cause cross-faction alliances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think once you break that 4-player number, I think you need to introduce individual goals to kind of keep it in the mix. Because I think when you're doing 2-on-2, you can kind of, that tension's there. But as soon as you get like 3, I think it's just dissension. And then this way we can kind of force that a little bit.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, you did find a theme that was going to appeal to me personally. I can dig building barricades in the streets of Paris. I can already picture little barricade components in my head here. This is hitting the right note.
Dan bought the deluxe version.
Yeah, I already did the same thing.
Like, this is getting expensive.
I think
it would only get expensive when part of the Kickstarter exclusive stretch goal was a set of wooden components that you could safely light on fire.
All right, we send you like 5 of them so you can play the game 5 times. We'll call it a legacy game.
You just need a recharge pack and you're good.
Oh, I like that. Even better.
see, here's where the actual publishing expertise comes into play. A couple of whiskeys is the right time to set the stretch goals for the campaign.
We're trying to help you out. We're trying to make this, stretch goals sell Kickstarters.
So there's a lot of appeal here. There's also a lot of stuff going on. So I think I need to see a playtest session of this to believe that it all hangs together. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to score this guy as I will take that prototype. I will play this session of this. I promise to get it to the table and find out just how this works and see if it all hangs together. And if so, we're going to be able to do some business. So I think we're going to score this a 2 on my.
I think it sounds like a long night in the office center of the hotel, though. Trying to make this thing happen for you. Just saying. It's going to be expensive. It's like $1 a print, man.
See, the evil of what you guys are doing, though, is that this is what my brain does all the time. It's like I have a book of ideas. So now there's a good chance this game might actually happen.
Nice. I'll tell you right now, don't pitch it to Dan. He's really not got the role to make it happen. All right. You need to go see like Kirkman and get that big dice hate me money. All right. All right, Dan.
Kickstarter's going to do much better than Game All Night Publishing.
Absolutely.
Bartender Press.
Yes.
All right. So, all right. Clean the slate. Forget everything we've just done. We're going to start on a brand new game. Now you're going to pitch me a game about a recent travel destination for yourself, the lovely city of Philadelphia, where I believe you were able to make it recently for PAX Unplugged.
Man, and this is mine. I have to pitch the city that's closest to me. I have to pitch a.
You guys could work together here, but why don't you get us started, Chris, with a what's a baseline for what you would do with
Philadelphia is famous for what? For its
cheesesteaks, insane sports fans. We also have we have lots of food stuff: scrapple, pork roll. I already said the obvious stuff, but I want to go the National Treasure movie road.
Ah, okay.
Like Nick Cage, because he spent a good chunk of time in Independence Hall, right?
With all those foods you were rhyming off, I was almost going to say like a food truck game.
Ooh, that could be interesting too.
We do have.
Has that been done?
As so many other cities do, we do have the whole like gourmet, specialty food truck phenomenon happening.
We definitely. I mean, if it's one thing that I do like about my city is it's a great food town. Food trucks. There've been a couple food trucky games, but I don't know that there's ever been anything that kind of captures, like, I don't know. How do you want to approach it? Is it more of a real-time game? Like, is this something where we're going to be making things and throwing it down, maybe a la the great food truck race or something, where you're given these ingredients, you have to make a thing, and it's a quick assemble. I'd like to see multi-use cards so that it could be a smaller game. I mean, we just designed a monster. You know, maybe it's time for a card game now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know,
multi-use. I guess it depends what. Yeah. So are we thinking like lighter? Like, are these food trucks going to be serving the Eagles? Like, are they out in the parking lot?
Well, yeah, it could be like tailgating, kind of, maybe that kind of style. But the nice thing is in Philadelphia, we do have a huge variety of foods available. So, I mean, yeah, we have our cheesesteaks, our pizzas, but we also have pretty much every ethnicity is represented in the city and the styles of food we make. So the amount of food styles and things could be very, very huge and give us a large variability.
What's it called? What is it called here in town? We have an event
Poutine?
In Thunder Bay. I literally made that 2 nights ago for my family. They asked for it. So we made homemade poutine and watched Beastmaster on Netflix. Very competing ideas.
Yes.
No, what is it called? It's not a convention, but it's a weekend gathering where they showcase the different cultures and foods and cuisines.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called locally. I can't believe I'm blanking on it. But anyways, that sort of idea. So if you have all of these different foods and restaurants, can we somehow make it where we each have our own restaurant that we are trying to win over the larger amount of crowds with the better dishes? My worry with the speed is I feel like there's been a couple speed-based kitchen games already.
Definitely. But, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, maybe there could be this race element. Like, you have different spots in the city and you have to complete your task at one location before you can move your food truck to the next one. And then you have to complete tasks there with cards, and then you have to move to the next one. And then but the map is different. The requirements are different in each spot.
You could, yes, so that could work. You could also do catering, because that would give you a reason for why you're zooming everywhere instead of just a food truck going and setting up for the day. A caterer might have to go and do a breakfast, do a business lunch, do a afternoon.
So you're thinking maybe,
but I don't know if that might just limit your food possibilities if it's catering.
So what if it revolves around kind of like a gin or a rummy kind of mechanic? All right, you're trying to capture ingredients of different families. So maybe you're trying to capture produce, and you're trying to capture like Asian ingredients or things like that might kind of suit your style. There's a pot in the middle and you're kind of playing around, and as soon as you go, you kind of go out, you complete your task. Maybe this truck, it's a trip. Maybe this truck, it's a run. You need these kind of ingredients, and we kind of disguise it.
I like that. So what if instead then we were competing food trucks, competing for the same clients?
Right.
So we have Dan who wants a meat on a bun. And what are you going to build him? What am I going to build him? Right. Oh, I'm going to make him a po' boy. Oh, you're going to make him a Philly cheese. Right. So we're pulling similar ingredients to make different cuisines.
Right.
And if we can do it well enough, see, I'm literally thinking from a design point, but if you can do it in a way that the value changes, right? So whereas if one takes longer or more ingredients or it's harder, but it's going to score you those more points, right? The same idea, whereas if you get that larger run, a straight flush, the harder things to build will actually score you more points.
Right. And I think, but that could also be kind of the difference between getting the basic burger and getting the meat sweats. That, you have the roll, you have the burger, you have the bacon, you have the cheese, you have the pulled pork that all goes on top. That because your opponent's taking too long to put theirs together, so you're able to build this bigger one, and then boom.
Yeah.
You kind of, all right.
I mean, that could be fun in the give us little sand timers.
Yeah,
like you've got to make this sale, like boom, go, like pull those ingredients, hammer them down, right? And then we're throwing stuff out, you're stealing it. Yeah.
And then maybe the pull, instead of being like a standard discard, like kind of pile, it's more like Galaxy Trucker. As you draw tiles or as you draw cards, either one, what you don't use, you have to discard out that anybody can grab and face up.
Thinking, yeah.
So you're building into this common pool, and then when you're done, boom, your dish is served. You're done.
Yeah, call it the market or whatever, right? Where you're going,
and then you move on to the next one.
I need cilantro. I don't want the cilantro. Well, boom, and I'll steal that. Yeah.
Right, because it doesn't fit with the trip you're making or the run or whatever you got.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that there's some building, some selections that you're shooting for. There's the discard pile, the main draw deck or decks, plural.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to complete the task in X amount of time, score it, and then move on to the next one. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then you get bonus, obviously, for finishing first, second, or third. I like this. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
So I hear three like competing score objectives. There's one, like just the bonus points for competing on time, finishing fastest gives you bonuses.
Right, you snag the token first.
Sort of a traditional set collection and/or poker hand type like score that's always in place where there's ways to form runs or combos that will score more points. Plus, there's a randomized demand element where your consumer, your Dan in this case, is looking for some specific thing. He really wants something with a pile of meat on it, or he really wants
vegan
a fresh roll, something like that adds. So all three of these like are different vectors that you can score, and so you can optimize for one or more of them, and then try to get the best across the board.
Yeah, and I think that you draw, like at the beginning of the game, you have a deck of like, maybe 10 patrons, and you just draw from them, and boom, these 5 are the ones that we're serving this round, starting here, going there.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. Yeah. I think that could be fun.
And
it could be tiles, it could be cards. I think, either one, depending on how you want to build it.
Now, do you guys have a name involved or name in mind for your pitch here that you're selling to the publisher on the floor of the convention?
Well, whatever name we suggest, they're just going to rename it to kind of...
I have heard some bad names.
So Galaxy Food Trucker, maybe?
I literally had someone tell me their pitch for a game, and they started with the name, and I was like, okay, just to be fair, it might just be me. However, I would recommend never using that name again if you're going to pitch it to somebody. Pitch them your game.
Teabag doesn't really work for a name, It's just...
Okay, another little tidbit for you. So I'm in Thunder Bay.
Right.
That's the city I live in. So our art gallery decided to have tbag.com. So teabag.com. And they got a lot of traffic, but it was drop-off traffic, and they couldn't figure out why. I'm not even making that up.
Oh, I wish you were. I wish you were.
Yeah, so do they. Okay, but a name. I mean,
the food truck rally.
I think somewhat involved in this game is lost sight of the fact that the central theme here, the unifying theme,
Philadelphia.
This is Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, that's going to play out in the Liberty Bell that'll be on the back of the cards.
That really, you certainly have nailed how some of the industry tends to theme their games.
Right. But
so you're saying Liberty Taco Bell isn't a good one?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. You only want to ring it once. That's how.
Yeah, exactly.
The
ringing itself.
Right, but I think Philadelphia is a great launch point. But I think I see this, with themes from like San Francisco. Maybe it's food trucks of the world. Philadelphia
What's
edition.
Philadelphia's motto?
City of brotherly love.
That's not going to fit this.
Yeah,
we've gone too far to worry about
that robot.
Philly food truck frenzy.
There you go. You got to have frenzy.
The alliteration going on.
Yeah, but you got to spell frenzy with a PH.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Food truck.
Yeah, Philly food truck. But frenzy.
Frenzy.
As I spit all over my entire desk.
You've isolated your appeal to natives of the city of Philly. This is fine if your only sales outlet is going to be a game store in downtown Philly. I think.
Yeah, one, red caps. That's it. That's all you get. No, I just think it should be like, food truck frenzy, and then we could do Philly, because I think, come on, food truck frenzy, New Orleans. I think we could do that. Exactly. We could change up the ingredients. We could go this could go worldwide. It could be food truck frenzy Paris.
It could be the new Ticket to Ride.
It could be. It really could be.
It could be food truck 1812. It could be.
Right? It could be food truck 10th anniversary deluxe edition.
And I am sure some percentage of folks pitching board game designs to publishers on the convention floor have exactly visions this lofty.
It's a lot like this, but that.
Right? It's hilarious.
Yeah. And they've already got the 5th expansion in mind when the base game is selling. So
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and say I do like featuring the food trucks of Philly. I like I think there's something exciting going on about multiple scoring vectors here. Straight up set collection game tends to really have some hurdles to get over to grab my interest, but there's a lot going on here. So I think, and this is going to sound familiar, I think I'll definitely take a prototype here, take a closer look at this guy.
I think he's being generous. I think he wants to give us a 1. Yeah. I think he wants to give us a 2 on this one. I think he's politely giving us a 2.
He give me a 1. If that was my pitch alone, he'd give me a 1.
I'd rather take the 1 on this one, because I wouldn't have pitched this game. It's not done yet.
Yeah. No, it's not done. It's not.
We needed more time. It's not baked. There's the other one I could actually have built. This one it's not built yet. It's not ready.
And it is,
we withdraw. We withdraw our submission, and we do not wish to hear your number, sir.
We went from 2 to 0.
No, we went to 2. We don't need your number.
I need to talk to my partner
to NA on this one. Is that what we're scoring? We pass on the Philly round.
Wow. Wow.
All right. Well, that's going to put a whole lot of
pressure
on the third one. Exactly. A whole lot of pressure on the final round of the game, which is going to be our trip to Thailand. We'll start off this round.
Thailand.
Conor, if you could start us off and get the ball rolling here before you throw it to Chris for more ideas and development.
Because that's worked out so well for you. Now you know why I host the show. I don't run a board game company.
hey, no. We came up with the Bastille together. That was I still like that one.
All right.
Okay, so Thailand. I freaking love Thailand. What do we want to do with it? The food is fantastic. The people is fantastic. The area, the nature, Thai boxing's amazing.
So it sounds like it's something we need to do a lot of things or represent a lot of items. So what's a good format? Is it?
But what hasn't been done well? I don't want to do a combat game.
No.
So we just went through food.
I don't think you're the dry, tasteless Euro guy.
This is sometimes. What? I don't know if I actually want to talk about this. We have to cut this out if we actually develop it too much. Deal? Do I have your agreements that if we actually hash this out and I tell you to cut it, you'll cut it?
Sure.
Perfect. We'll come up with another one. No, because this is actually a serious thing I was thinking about the other day. Has there been good games about drug trafficking?
The new one that was about Noriega that just came out. But it's not about the trafficking itself. It was more about him controlling actually Nicaragua. I forget the name of it, though. It was based on a show. And then there was an infamous traffic that Cole Worley did that was based on heroin trade out of China. They're the two that come to my mind.
Interesting.
For drugs.
Yeah. That's
Narcos. That was the other one.
It is Narcos. I was going to guess Narcos. It was a TV show, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you tell me which way you want to go. Do you want to go more adventure multiple tomb robbing, or do you wanting to go tailor shop?
Well, I think the Euro person in me wants to explore the tailor shop, but I think that the bigger game is to be had in, the Tomb Raider : Thailand game. I think that has a little more potential. And maybe it's even like you have this one tomb, you get maps, you get special abilities, you kind of build out until you get to a prize, and maybe it's a draw thing, kind of almost like a push your luck inside each tomb, and maybe if you help your partner, you get good karma. I mean, there's some potential there, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Is like, or we could go the counter and do the Dungeon Lord style, where you're trying to keep people from raiding the tombs. And you're trying to set up the traps and set up the things for all the adventurers that come through. And maybe we do like,
too.
Yeah, you do a couple of them, not just one.
The Buddhist monks protecting the monastery.
Right. Because I think that kind of also, kind of trades on the, the other one is more, I don't want to say problematic, but I think it's more, I don't like the vibe of, I'm going to come in here and steal your stuff versus we're trying to protect our stuff. And so we're going to set up, our tombs this way. We're going to set up these traps, and we're going to try and keep these people out.
Well, I mean, you can get even bigger than that. I'm going to mess up my history, though. Is it the Burmese?
You are not asking the right guy. I think we've proven that.
Because that's what you could do, too. If you went older, you could actually have that, right? Whereas the Thais trying to protect their own stuff, their own culture, their own land. Right. Meanwhile, getting invaded from neighboring countries. Mm-hmm. So, we can get away from the tombs completely. I'm happy to go either way with this.
I mean, we can't go full on like Spirit Island style, but I think that there's definitely something to be said for just kind of.
Well, I guess, do we want to micro or macro it? Do we want to have the Wat that we're protecting, or do we have the area? Like, are we in charge of northern Thailand? And now we have to protect these various Wats, which are going to be getting attacked and sacked from random places. We need to be setting up and defending them and preparing for them. What do you think? Do we want to go into one or an overview of all of them?
I think the history's better shown on the grander scale. Mm-hmm. And then I think you have a lot more play, and then kind of, that gives you the potential to dial down later in either expansions or whatnot. But I think the broader scope, because I think a lot of people don't know that history. So I think if we tried to research it and do it on a larger scale and kind of protect, the idea being to protect the culture, right? And kind of keep everything intact from outside invaders. So what are the mechanics that are going to make that happen?
My guess is you're going to need area control.
Right.
You're going to need, what about some worker placement?
Potentially to build things. I like drawbacks. I'm really big on I'm really big on bag building right now. Mm-hmm. So I think we could potentially you put all your resources in a bag and then you travel. When you go, you can kind of draw them and see what you can build in that area, maybe.
And it's funny because one of the games I'm actually working on right now, we had got to a point where I was trying a whole bunch of different mechanics for it. And one of the guys I do a lot of testing with loves chit pulls and stuff as well.
Right.
And the one issue I have with them, though, is thematically, it's so weird to me that you would have the stuff yet not know how and when you actually wanted to use it.
True.
That's the one. So if I'm protecting, I mean, you'd have to theme it really well. If I'm in charge of protecting the Wats of northern Thailand, and it's like, am I really going to randomly pick, do this action, or am I going to need more direct control and less random? You're talking to a guy who actually likes random, so.
Right. Well, then maybe it's literally just kind of, You build the center, and we build supply chains out, and just kind of.
Mind you, you could use your chip pulse system for what we're dealing with.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Are we not? Because if it's not cooperative, if we're doing our own, I'm just either feed my people or to build, or am I pulling out guys, which means I'm going to be attacked. So that could work better because that's where the randomness might work.
And if you're capturing the Spirit Island zeitgeist here, you definitely would be on the same side, right? You're
right.
It's hard to find the competitive angle if you are, both tasked with protecting the.
Right, and I think that's kind of the crux. I think if we're going to go like historical, I think it's not good to cast people in that role. It's better to leave that as a random. These are the events, these are the things we're dealing with. But maybe you have a little foreshadowing, like you can pull out X amount, and this is 1, 2, 3 that's coming, so you can react to it and build to it. I think that makes sense. Or
even you could do it regionally as well. You could be like, okay, we know that if we're going to this place, it's on the border. It's going to be a higher % chance of getting attacked.
Right.
If we go back here, we know that this is in farmland. It's a higher chance of getting supplies.
Right. And then, of course, if you lose an area, you kind of lose the productivity from that area, the resources it provides. Your border don't crumble, but they kind of collapse. And the idea is to stay alive and either reclaim or hold the borders against the incoming invasions.
Yeah, exactly. And you can even set it up at the time of X amount of rounds until the King of Thailand sends his troops to fight back the incoming hordes or whatever you want to call it.
I like it.
Yeah.
What do we think? What's the name? You like names. What do you think, Dan? I mean, that's kind of a very rough sketch for an elevator pitch. Let's hope it was a very long ride and a very tall building.
Yeah, we had this conversation happened over drinks at the con. Otherwise, the publisher's not sitting at the booth long enough to listen.
We lubricated the publisher a little bit on this one. We kind of bamboozled him and showed up with a drink of his favorite choice, sitting down. So, hey, let me talk to you about something.
So Conor, you were using a term there, the watts, did you say, of Thailand?
Yes. That kind of what the temples are called.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Okay. So this is about protecting the watts of Thailand from incursion and looting, and it's a thematic.
So is that the name, Watts, or the Watts of Thailand?
No, like I said, I'd stick with something either like Chiang Mai, something like an actual city, or go something like right into it where you have like Temple of the Emerald Buddha or something very on the
Yeah, but that sounds like the adventure game we were designing when we started out.
Yeah.
So still, I think I'm one for not mis-selling your game. That's not a word at all. But nonetheless, I think that.
Sorry, you can't have that. I missold it to you.
even a name like that, I think, still fits what's going on. So either the place name or the temple names both have a much more ring to them than Watts of Thailand or something like that. So,
I like it.
So I think there's more shelf.
We can name it after. We could go for like a full-on Watts name, like Wat Tra Tang Lapang Nuang. But I don't know if it would be too long for a box.
I think you might have.
It's not much harder than
it into a niche.
So let's be honest here. So what do we think, Dan? What's the verdict?
Oh, I'm excited. Part of me also wants to go back and give you guys a 3 for Paris, which I think is going to turn out to be your most well-baked concept here. But nonetheless, I'm excited by everything that's going on. I think this is an appealing thematic thing that you found. You found both something that fits the place maybe better than anything else we've talked about tonight, and is doing things that I'm excited to see in games right now. So I think we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take the rights to this right now. I'm going to publish this game.
All right. See,
alrighty, I'll take it.
It's gonna be a while before this one hits because it's gonna spend a lot of time in development
and testing. If I saw all 3 games on the table, I would try the French one, I would try the Thai one, and then I would try the food truck one.
Yeah,
I think the food truck.
I'm afraid no one's playing Food Truck Frenzy. This is
it looks too light. you know, and it's funny because I don't like games that are all cards. That's why I say like chits. Like if it was chits and
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, whatever. We're done.
So we got a 3, we got a 2, and we only asked for 2 ratings. We didn't want
and a
the third
retracted.
rating. So we scored 2.5.
That's a first.
We scored a 2.5.
That's a first.
Amazing.
It's not good enough. It's not done. It's not done. So there you go, Dan.
I like
That was
it.
awesome. I
I hope
enjoyed
you had
that.
fun.
Awesome.
I did. I'm actually going to be percolating on some of those ideas.
All right. Well, Mr. Conor, where can people find you if they'd like to find you on the internet because they want to hound you for a game based in Paris featuring those people from that thing that Liam Neeson did? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I can be found at insideupgames.com. So that can be either, that's a website, I guess. And then Inside Up Games on Twitter and Instagram. Info at Inside Up Games email. And I think if you can get a styrofoam cup and a string long enough to get me one, I'll answer.
It's going to be very cold to do that right now. So let's be honest with you.
Yeah, but that's what builds the strength.
It does. It does. Well, you know, cold, it's good for weight loss and things like that, they say.
It is. Yeah.
It is. It is. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for playing along on Game Time tonight. Dan, thanks for an interesting game of con floor pitches.
Yeah, we'll workshop the title.
We got to workshop that title. I mean, you know, we'll see. It's there somewhere. So don't forget, Conor has graciously offered up a copy of Gorus Maximus. Be sure to check out the link below for you to find out exactly how you can enter to win one. So be sure to do that. And we will see you next time on Game Time.
Thank you so much.